Salute, 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 salute. God bless each and every one of you guys. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is healthy. On a more serious note, there was a person from my college at the tender age of 34 who just passed away from stage 4 lung cancer. Didn't know he had it. Obviously, it was fairly aggressive. So, guys, please go get checked out. Make sure you get checked out for as many cancers as you can. Get your annual physicals. Make sure you take as many preventative measures. Eat right. Obviously, dieting is also a big part of your body's natural immunity as well as its natural health. So, guys, please make sure everything is copacetic. And to all the cancer survivors out there, salute to you guys. You guys are legit heroes. So, with that being said, let's get to Evan Fournier. Just to go over some basics, Fournier did put up solid numbers on the Magic and the Celtics last year, generating 17.1 points a game, 3.4 assists, 3 rebounds, 1.1 steals, shooting 45.7% from the field and 41.3% from 3. He's known to be able to play on and off the ball, exhibits a solid ability to catch and shoot, can handle the ball in the pick and roll, can take his man off the dribble, especially on missteps or resets, and can play a little bit of isolation when necessary. So let's go over some positives. The one positive is scheme versatility that Fournier provides. We all know about Fournier's ability to score on the ball, but in conjunction with his off-ball prowess, he affords our offense a lot more options. Off screens, Fournier was actually pretty good, shooting 44.1% from the field and averaging 1.084 points per possession, ranking in the 77th percentile according to Synergy. And as a catch and shoot player, he was actually really good, shooting 41.1% from the field, 60.5% effective field goal shooting, and averaging 1.21 points per possession, ranking in 80th percentile. The Knicks were very good as a catch and shoot team last year, but the reason I bring this up is because the Knicks were very unimaginative in their offensive sets, and the only pin down screens I saw last year were mostly for Bullock in the second half. So I'm going to show a few examples to illustrate that Fournier's experience as well as his ability to play in these nuanced schemes will definitely allow Tom Thibodeau to open up the offense. And by the way, someone needs to hire Steve Clifford. Actually, the Knicks need to hire Steve Clifford, but back to the examples. In this example, Steve Clifford executes the flex offense, aka screen across, screen down. It's an old school offense that's been executed in high schools and colleges and obviously on the NBA level. It's a simple example that shows Fournier's ability to play off the ball with patience and timing as well as some dirty work. Now you see Fournier set the pick on DeAndre Hunter, who was Dwayne Bacon's man, and then Dwayne Bacon actually sets the pick on Fournier's man, allowing Fournier to come free with a rushing DeAndre Hunter's too late to stop the three-point shot. Again, a simple play, but that definitely displays Fournier's ability to shoot or catch and shoot, in which he ranked 80th percentile last season. In another example, Fournier and Markelle Fultz run the Spain pick and roll with an interesting variation, as Cole Anthony is the initial ball handler, while Fultz sets a pick on Capella, Vucevic's man, and then Fournier sets a pick on Fultz's man. The initial screen set on Vucevic by Fultz allows Vucevic an open look for the catch and baseline hook shot. Now, in some variations, you definitely see the Spain pick and roll run, and you see the shooters come free at the perimeter, the shooter being the second screener. But in this case, it seems as if they sold out to get Vucevic open on the baseline. And that's a play that could definitely work for a guy like Randall. Get him in motion and have him in an advantageous position against a smaller defender on the baseline where he loves that post up and that little fadeaway shot. Also, with Team France, we saw the national team execute a solid amount of movement away from the ball to screen for the shooter on curls or pin down screens to get the gunner open on the wing or the top of the key for the shot, or for the reset into dribble isolation. And many times Fournier was a recipient of those passes. This summer, Team France also ran some horns, a scheme they ran dating back to even 2016 when they had Boris Diaw and Tony Parker, and probably even before that. So Fournier would definitely have some familiarity with Thibs' current go-to offensive schemes. I'm not saying the Knicks would become the 2000 Spurs with the motion offense, but Tom Thibodeau did try to implement more intricate off-ball movement last year and screening the screen-based offenses, but to little avail largely because of the lack of talent. I'm not saying Fournier is Manu Ginobili, but his ability to play off of the ball, provide screens away from it, and execute the right pass at the right time, as well as attack his defender off of the dribble, goes a long way in expanding Thibs' offensive playbook. Another positive is adding a viable ball handler in the lineup. Yes, despite Bullock's superlative play on the perimeter last season, we were largely hamstrung by his inability to actually create off the dribble, especially given that we had Elfrid Payton in the lineup last season. And yes, RJ Barrett is definitely still developing his ball handling skills overall, but he's largely a wing who can ball handle versus a ball handler who happens to be a wing, if that makes any sense. He's still working on hesitation moves. He's probably at the infancy stage regarding those moves. He is getting better. He's still also working on acceleration, deceleration, but he's still largely linear regarding how he attacks the basket in the mid-range, as his mid-range shot is still not necessarily strong, and he still favors his left, and he likes to pick up his dribble before he's close enough to the basket. Last season, Randle was our end-all be-all facilitator and our main creator off the dribble drive, and so now having a guy like Fournier where he can go ISO or execute off the pick and roll definitely adds some wrinkles to our offense, especially in spaces where we struggled last season, such as the mid-range. Having another on-ball attacker will allow us to punish smaller guards who are giving us trouble, like Trae Young in the playoffs last year, where the Hawks were able to hide him on a guy like Bullock because Bullock couldn't post him up or really drive on him, given the fact that that's not Bullock's game. Now Trae Young would have to account for Rose's speed, deal with RJ's bully ball and strength, or deal with Fournier's versatility. Many times last year, because Randle was our end-all be-all on offense, we had to wait for him to get into the post from the wing, draw doubles, and then dish him out to the open perimeter guy or the cutting guard and paint an RJ. Randle overall represented 80% of our post-up plays last season. That's way too predictable of an offense. And forcing Randle to post up starting from the wing and the passing lanes that teams played against us while keeping a help defender like Capella or attacking Randle early in the high post was a winning scouting report on Randle. Go look at the first game that Phoenix played against us, look what the Nuggets did against us, and even the Hawks in the playoffs. Having another on-ball handler and score away from Randle creates uncertainty for the defense. We have to diversify our offense with plays away from Randle. We have to throw teams off of the scouting reports that they have from him from the previous season. The next added benefit is the mid-range ability that Fournier brings to the Knicks. Now, the Knicks last season were pretty putrid for the mid-range. The only guys who were capable from the areas were Julius Randle from the long mid-range, Alec Burks from the long mid-range, Reggie Bullock, who's no longer with the team, and then Derrick Rose. The Knicks offense was fairly predictable. Last season, with just Orlando, Fournier shot 51% from the short mid-range, which is 4 to 14 feet from the basket according to Cleaning the Glass, ranking the 91st percentile, and 45% from the long mid-range, which is 14 feet to the three-point line, ranking in the 73rd percentile. Meanwhile, the Knicks ranked in the 24th percentile in the short mid-range and 16th in the long mid-range. If this was the mid-2010s championship Warriors with all that three-point shooting, then fine. But we need guys who can stop and pop when given the space and advantage off the dribble. So with Fournier, we can be more effective off the pick and roll and punish front court players playing drop coverage on us, similar to how Trae Young, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul do. And although he sported a mediocre free throw draw rate of 25.3% last season between Orlando and Boston, I expect Tom Thibodeau to improve Fournier's ability to draw fouls and sell contact when trapping defenders on the hip in the pick and roll set in order to create leverage while going to the basket. And just a small digression. Here's a chart from Clean the Glass breaking down the top mid-range teams for the 2020-2021 season. Do you see a pattern here? Most of the top teams in the NBA sport a solid accuracy percentage in the mid-range. And some would say, well, you also have to look at the frequency which these guys shoot these shots. And yes, some of these top teams in the NBA still shoot at a fairly frequent level regarding the mid-range. And the Knicks ranked 7th this season regarding frequency of mid-range shots, according to Clean the Glass. However, we were woefully inefficient compared to the rest of the league. This past year proved that the mid-range has immense value in the NBA. Screw the advanced analytics. The Bucks, the Hawks, the Suns, the Nuggets, and the Nets have proven that having a mid-range threat elevates the offense. They're all helping to dispel the flawed notion from advanced analytics that you only get rewarded by going to the basket or shooting a three. Tell that to the recent champion, Chris Middleton. So overall, Fournier is a solid offensive signing for the Knicks. You do lose some defensive prowess with Bullock being gone, but you do gain on and off the ball offensive versatility with a guy who's a 38% three-point shooter and a 45% from the field scorer in Evan Fournier. Hopefully the system defense and the helper defense helps mask some of the deficiencies that Fournier may show on the defensive end, namely isolation, where he's not good at. But you're also looking at this acquisition as another project. I don't want to say project because it's not as if this guy is bereft of any talent or devoid of it. But you are looking at a project where you want Evan Fournier's ability to mesh well with Tom Thibodeau's coaching, and you want to see if Tom Thibodeau's coaching can be a plus multiplier to allow this offense, with the help of Fournier's contributions, elevate to the next level. Evan Fournier did have issues allegedly with Team France, but more so because he was kind of alpha mentality, who was getting on players for some of the so-called losing ways in the past and just wanted to win. So having him on a team with Randall, RJ Barrett, Derrick Rose, as well as the tutelage of guys like Tom Thibodeau, the impact of Johnny Bryant, hopefully you can take that attitude, that gung-ho, go get him, as corny as that sounds, winning mentality, and that hopefully that meshes with the rest of the Knicks roster. Now, with me again, my guy I want to see is Miles McBride. I'm only joking. Obviously, Miles McBride probably won't get any minutes this season, but it will be interesting to see how Evan Fournier fits into this team, this offense. If Tom Thibodeau can get the best out of him, you might have an even better team than last year. But we will see. But until then, guys, peace, Lou. God bless your boy, Game of Kioske. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the dark notification bell so you get each and every notification for each and every video. Until then, guys, we out.